Broken Arrow 911.
Yeah, I'm at the Broken Arrow Inn, and in the next room I can hear a man hitting his wife or something.
Okay. What's the address? Do you know?
I don't know.
Or what room number are you in?
And we're still getting further. Gray short. He still has the knife.
When I first got in the business, we didn't talk much about victims. We talked a lot about bad guys, about interviewing bad guys, chasing bad guys. We understood one side of the coin really well, which was the enforcement side, but we didn't really understand the service side of it, particularly regarding our crime victims.
We started from the premise that the community doesn't exist to support the police department. The police department exists to support the community.
Years ago that we're all about focusing on who did it, the Joe Friday thing, just give us the facts, let us solve it, and arrest and prosecute the person. And there wasn't a lot of attention or focus placed on the victim. It can be devastating to a person to have their home burglarized or their car broken into, to have their privacy and sense of security invaded.
We're in the business to put crooks in jail, but we can't do that without the community's participation and help. The biggest part of the community we deal with are victims of crime.
912 South Elsh Avenue. Advising the male subject is a woman that lives here. He has a knife in his hands now.
Traditionally, as what law enforcement has done, is use the victim as a tool, with the goal being we're going to extract information from you and get to the goal of making the arrest, clearing the crime, getting into court. That process continues to provide a re-victimization of the victim.
The interesting thing about this program and the enhancement through IACP has been that it doesn't matter where you are geographically or how large your agency is and your geographical area of where your agency serves, these programs will work.
Through this enhanced police-victim relationship, what we're able to provide now to victims is we work in partnership with them. They become part of our team.
We can't undo what's happened, but I feel that now we're at the place where we are actually taking a holistic approach to not just getting information and using a victim, but viewing the victim as what they are, a person that's in a crisis situation.
And then when he threatened to kill everybody, that's when I ran next door. And like I said, I didn't want it to end this way.
That's one of the things that I try to bring here to Travis County Sheriff's Office, is to build a relationship, because there's so many people out there that do not trust law enforcement. And it's critical that before you're able to build a relationship, you have to build a level of trust.
It's had a huge impact on the mindset of everybody that works here. When we made this a priority,
how badly are you bleeding?
Everybody from our telecommunicators who work in dispatch,
Stay on the line with me until the police officers arrive, okay?
to the first responders, to detectives, to our victims advocates, they all started thinking about this in a new way. We've seen an increase in our case closure rates over the last several years. Right now they're up over 80% and have consistently been there. Usually they were 50 to 60%.
The IACP did a lot of research throughout the years in trying to define and identify for law enforcement the critical needs that a victim has through the whole process, whether it's from the beginning of calling, saying I've been a victim of a crime, to the end in restoring justice. And they came up with the 7 critical needs of a victim, and the first one is safety.
To me, a community policing strategy is not just driving around from call to call, going to high-volume calls. It's actually getting out of your car, walk into some of the businesses, find out who the owners are, find out who's working there, familiarize yourself with the regular citizens that's coming and going on a daily basis.
oftentimes victims that are reluctant witnesses. You're dealing with people that have to provide you information to make prosecution successful. When you have a victim that's just scared of the system, and we provide a professional service to them to give them the confidence that, you know, there's going to be justice done here.
One of the most frustrating things for me when I exit my patrol vehicle is when I have kids running from me, when I'm the one out here trying to protect them. Hi, how are you? I don't want them to just think I'm just some person in hard body armor that's out to harm them. I'm here to help them out.
Our officers are there to ensure that those individuals have a sense of safety, a sense of comfort, to let them know that if they ever need us, that we're going to be there to try to assist them.
Once you show the victim that you care about them enough, they will do whatever they can in order to help us solve the case, because it establishes the fact that they know that we care about them and will do whatever we can to bring resolution to their investigation.
I was assigned to the investigations unit, and I was called to respond to the hospital for a victim of a sexual assault. As an officer, you have to be patient with the victim, but at the same time, you have to also realize you have a goal. You have to get information, very personal information for the case, because ultimately, in the end, in the back of your head, you want to get the offender.
My husband at the time actually raped me, and he kept me entrapped in the house.
I wanted Vicki to make sure that she felt safe and that she had options, that she had the support of the police department.
She was very comforting. If you needed something, they were there, but they also gave you your space.
Staying in communication with her and talking with her and showing her respect and just listening to her, I think makes a big difference with victims.
I actually do feel that I would not prosecute it had they not been this way in the beginning.
Pulled a knife out, but he never.
Yeah,
he
he
didn't.
opened it. He never actually used it on anybody.
Knowledge is power, so if we can take away a lot of the unknown and the fear, when we can answer those questions and give them a little bit more knowledge, then it kind of empowers the victim to get through this process and to be successful.
All right, thanks, guys. And like I said, we'll come back with you in a minute and kind of explain some more about them. So.
We developed a victim assistant notification form we hand out to the victims, and it's in Spanish and English, and it identifies then all of the resources that are available in the county for people to get assistance from.
And we even reach out to family members of people who have committed suicide, to the training in mental health, and we have a suicide support group here that we try to get them hooked up with.
We started a callback procedure whereby our detectives are required to contact victims within 36 hours to provide follow-up on the case, and they know that somebody cares. And I think that helps the perception of the police department, and we have to convince our community that they can have confidence in us.
We have a pretty big Spanish-speaking population in town, and I'm the only Spanish-speaking officer in the department. They come in and ask for me personally a lot, or I have to assist with interviews and stuff. It puts them a lot more at ease. Not only them, but also the investigators or the patrol officers I'm trying to assist.
If we have a victim that is hearing impaired, we have services available within the city and county of Denver that we bring in specialists to interview the victim.
When you're a police officer at the high school, you see victims over and over again because you see them every day. And to offer them assistance and to know that they're getting the help and for them to know that there's somebody there on their side is huge. It makes a big difference in their lives.
In this one particular case, this woman was not very cooperative, so I just told her, I believe you're in danger. I believe what you said is true, and I believe that I can help you. If you change your mind and you want assistance, please give me a call. 2 weeks later, she calls me and says, I'm ready to talk to you. We brought her in. We did the interview. She was actually strangled 3 times that night to the point that she was left unconscious. She provided me with photographs that she took of herself, which was phenomenal evidence. I think I established a relationship with her that I'm here to fight with you, and she stuck with it. He has a felony conviction. She was able to get a conviction and a bad guy.
Giving victims a voice is really the one thing that they've been lacking. We felt for the longest time that it was our responsibility and we'll be your voice, but that was just us doing the talking. Giving them the opportunity to voice what went right with their case, what went wrong with their case. If there's a better way that we can serve them, things we can do differently, then we want to be able to do that.
We have individuals that are on the board of the Texas Advocacy Project, which is a domestic violence organization who brought some of those past victims to the legislature to get some bills passed. And those individuals felt a sense of gratitude by being able to speak up, and they felt like they had their voice back.
We had a case involving the kidnapping and abduction of a 5-year-old girl. She went and knocked on the first door she could find, and they see this little girl naked and bleeding, and they're freaking out, so they call. And once we had a composite sketch, every cop in a 5-state area was looking for this guy. And it looked like the case was gonna grow cold. Finally, after 3 years, we were able to find the perpetrator.
That gave us a great deal of satisfaction as a law enforcement agency, but also a great deal of resolution for our crime victim in this case. And she addressed her offender directly and had the opportunity to make some comments to him that had been in her young mind for all this time. It's the idea that you're doing it not just for the sake of, because you're a cop, you're doing it for the sake of justice for your victims.
It's not just the police strategy. The hospitals have to be on board, the emergency room. When that victim comes in, it has to be the criminal justice strategy. As they start to move up to the next level of this with the state's attorney's office, they have to be on the same page and understand that notifications have to be in place. We have to be a team. We have to partner.
Serving victims is not only the right thing to do.
Will you let me help you get into that type of service?
It really helps the department. It helps our community. It's created a trust from not only victims, but throughout the community of the department.
It started from just focusing on the perpetrator to trying to make the victim whole again. We're giving them resources not provided a long time ago.
When you do a good job for a crime victim, you're not just doing a good job for that person, you're doing a good job for their family members, for their co-workers, for their neighbors, for everybody that person knows. That good deed that you do is multiplied many times in the community.
At the end of the day, we both want the same thing. We want justice. If we work together, that I believe should be our ultimate goal, not just prosecution, but restoration.
It's changing a philosophy. We're changing how we do business. The results and the outcomes are going to be consistent and they're going to be beneficial. And that's what we have found has happened as we've gone through this enhanced police-victim relationship.